Reference sources are extremely valuable sources of information when you're starting your research, but they're kind of unfortunately named. The word reference is used a lot in academic and just general information research. For one, a reference can just be a source that you've used and listed as a reference in a paper that you're writing. A very common usage of the word. A reference can also simply be when you put someone down as a reference for a job, for instance. But when we're talking about a reference source, we don't mean either of those things. What we mean is an information source such as a dictionary or encyclopedia, which you can refer to for authoritative information. Authoritative is kind of the key term here. So what do we mean by authoritative? Basically, it's written by an expert. When you look at a reference source such as an encyclopedia, you go into that with the understanding that the information provided there is authoritative and can be trusted and is credible. Along the same lines then, a reference source is factual, so it contains facts about the topic at hand. Ideally, a reference source is comprehensive, so if you're looking up a battle in a previous war, it should give you all of the details about that battle, the key figures, the main events, the turning point in the battle, so on and so forth. So it should be comprehensive in its coverage. And then a very important aspect of a reference source is the fact that typically at the end of the article on the topic that you're reading about, it will provide a list of further reading and will point you to additional sources so that you can branch out from your basic background information that you've found in your reference source. So when would you use a reference source? Again, when you just need to learn the basic facts on a subject. Or maybe you know a little bit and you need to flesh out your understanding. Maybe you just need the strict dictionary definition of a term. That's what a reference source is for. When you need guidance to additional credible sources, this is where the further reading or the bibliography of the article can lead you. When you need an overview of a topic from a specific disciplinary perspective. What do I mean by that? Well, you might have, say, a topic like wildfires. The kind of perspective and analysis that you might find on a topic like wildfires can vary depending on the subject or the disciplinary viewpoint. So an article on wildfires in the Encyclopedia of Economics will probably look quite a bit different from an article on wildfires in the Encyclopedia of Ecology, because they're using different tools and methods to analyze and approach, and theories to analyze and approach that topic. Finally, it's important to remember that a reference source is just the starting point of your research. If all you've done is looked at an encyclopedia article, you are not exactly well informed. Actually, at that point, you are at the bare bones minimum level of research. You can now go out and actually learn about that topic in depth. So what are some common reference sources that researchers can use? The one that is most commonly used by just about anyone is Wikipedia. Wikipedia is a reference source. Wikipedia, you just have to accept it, warts and all. A lot of the information there isn't exactly trustworthy, but if you treat it like a reference source, that is, as a starting point for your research, and don't necessarily accept it as the be-all, end-all, then it can be used safely. And of course, the articles that you find in Wikipedia vary considerably in their quality. A probably more trustworthy resource is Credo Reference. This is a database that the library subscribes to, which has a huge collection of electronic reference sources. Lots of subject encyclopedias and dictionaries, and a lot of really interesting tools that you can use to search the relevant literature. And I've already mentioned these in quite a bit of detail. Credo has a large collection of subject encyclopedias and dictionaries. Of course, in the library itself, we have a considerable amount of physical or printed subject encyclopedias and dictionaries that are available for use. So how can you find reference sources using the library? If you go to the Research Databases link on the library's homepage, we have quite a few reference databases, and you can sort by database type and choose reference. There are some subject-specific reference sources, such as Access Anesthesiology, which obviously deals with anesthesiology reference sources. There are plenty of other subject-specific databases with lots of reference sources, but a sort of general reference database that you can use and that I've mentioned already is Credo Reference. Another all-purpose reference source is Oxford Reference Online. Both of these databases have a wide range of reference sources, subject-specific encyclopedias, etc. We can look up a topic like zombies and get a wide range of sources. Here's one from a literary and cinematic perspective, the Ashgate Encyclopedia of Literary and Cinematic Monsters. But we might also want something, here's one from a music study, leisure studies. Here's another about zombieism theory from the Dictionary of Psychological Theories. A lot of options are available to you, depending on your research perspective.